This is sports stuff. Betting stuff. Unless you're Jim, and you
Place,
might be betting some of the stuff.
the place where Jim is better than that.
We hope. His wife wants him to be better than that. This is
No
Sports Stuff
context.
Betting Stuff, the number one sports betting podcast coming out of the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise. I'm your host in the original Degenerate Muff.
Ciao.
Also joining the Ohio Homer, the Ohio Degenerate, and the capo of the Midwest Crack House, Jim.
Hello.
He's better than that.
And last, but most certainly not least, in the betting world last year and in week one, the medical degenerate, Alex.
That's me.
This is, again, sports stuff, betting stuff, coming out with weekly episodes during the football season that will be dropped on Thursday mornings. As a reminder, we also have our regular episodes coming out on Mondays, typically, sometimes Tuesdays, depending on what's going on. But I think we're going to be pretty consistent on Mondays since the NFL season and college football season are fully upon us, which means we have all of the games to bet on now.
Yeah.
All the games.
As a reminder, we are going to discuss last week's picks, including our individual picks and our specialty picks,
Ugh.
which include the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week,
Pow, pow, pow.
the Midwest Mobster risky pick of the week,
Get out of here.
and our new namesake for the parlay, the Sell the Nutting Team, Bob.
The Jolly Roger.
Is that our sound effect for that?
I don't know. I gotta work on it.
It's an option. May not be the
You know
best
what?
option, but it's an
I'm gonna
option.
fill some out.
So, and then we'll get into this week's games in the NFL and in the college football world. As a reminder, everyone, FanDuel is our exclusive betting app.
FanDuel?
Vandal.
FanDuel.
Vandal.
FanDuel is the exclusive betting app of this podcast. So maybe we'll get sponsored
We've been trying on the FanDuel.
this year, maybe next year. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't receive any direct messages about the Action app.
Neither did I. Kind of upset. I even told my friends about it.
Thankfully, I did not.
Thankfully. I don't know, Alex. Oh, then you have to track your bets. I forgot. You're not good at that.
I want zero accountability.
So you can get our handles on the Action app by DMing at SportsGymMuff on Instagram or Twitter and saying, "Hey, I want them handle informations."
At this point, I'm ready to give out some merch.
Don't. How
Mm,
about this? I'm going to opposite a reverse challenge. Please do not. I do not want 5 people to do it because I do not want to track my bets in the Action app.
All right, that's fair.
it's an option. I don't want to give out merch because then we got to give out like 30 pieces of merch.
The fifth person to DM us should get some merch.
Sure. The fifth person to DM us between Instagram and Twitter
Fifth person.
we'll get a hat.
The fifth person to hold me accountable for my actions.
Right. Remember, I asked for 20.
Right.
So 5 they get Jim and Alex, 20 they get me.
Merch.
That's the one. Also, for any new listeners, we all have our totems, our tokens, our items of good luck. This year, they are Alex.
My sweet tie-dye Obi golf hat. That was my grandfather's, and I knew would come in good handy eventually.
There we go. I am using our sports stuff with Jim and Muff hat, which could be part of our merchandise giveaways. Available only from your local sports stuff with Jim and Muff podcast hosts.
I have no totem. I have no totem.
What?
That's it. Jim's kicked off the podcast. He's not
I
allowed to
have
be on
no
the betting
totem.
show anymore.
Dangerously close.
He's not
I have
allowed to
no
be on the
totem.
betting show. He doesn't subscribe to the totem rules.
I have no totem.
Is it because you have no good luck?
Free for all.
I have no good luck. I'm
because
going
you switch
totemless
it.
this week. I'm going to totemless this week.
You still have your hat on.
I have the old totem, the
Mm,
Kraken hat, but no new totem.
So, in case anyone was wondering, Jim's old totem was the Seattle Kraken hat. Up until
Yeah.
last week, and about 30 seconds ago, and we all found out that is no longer his totem. That was his totem.
No
you
new
had
totem.
1 week of a coin.
Yeah, the coin did not do me well.
You didn't flip the coin for any of your bets.
All right. The coin will stay to flip for some bets, but it's not a totem.
Then
Not a totem.
why don't we just use the light?
Then you're right. Forget the coin. I want the light.
All right. Jim is coming dangerously close to receiving a 1 week suspension from the betting show,
I mean,
Jim is-
which
I
may
don't
be
blame
better
him.
for him. I don't know. He may be
He's
I think
off the
this is what you
rails.
call a tilt. I think I'm already on tilt. Week
You
2.
are on
You are.
tilt. You are on tilt. So let's get into last week's bets. We will start from worst to first. Jim.
See? I hit Penn State minus 8.5 against WVU, and I hit Boston College plus 16.5 against Florida State. I lost. I took Miami plus 2.5 against, or I took Florida plus 2.5 against Miami. I took Texas A&M minus 2.5 against Notre Dame. I took LSU minus 4.5 against USC, and I took Houston minus 2.5 against UNLV.
Jim's record for the week is 2-4. Obviously,
Who?
this is the first week, so that is his current overall record. I was in next to worst, aka second in this case,
Next to worst.
at 2-3. My wins were Penn State to cover 8.5 in Morgantown, West Virginia, and the Notre Dame Texas A&M under 46.5, which felt pretty good about throughout the entire week, and it capitalized. My losses started early. I had Jacksonville State to cover 3.5 against Coastal Carolina, which Coastal Carolina won straight up. I had Florida plus the points against Miami, Florida. Miami blew them out the water. And I had LSU USC over 64.5, which, if not for some untimely fourth down not converteds, and I think a little bit here and there, I think that had a real chance, but the cards just did not fall in my favor in that game. So I was 2-3. Alex.
Very distracted by a neighbor again. I was number
It's
one.
football season, baby.
He was parallel parking. It was so weird, but go on. He was, never mind. I was 3-1. I was the top of the ladder here. I won the North Dakota State plus 9.5 at Colorado. I won the Oklahoma State minus 9.5 versus South Dakota State. I won the Boston College plus 16.5 at Florida State. Should have taken that bad boy money line, but
Yep.
W. And I lost the UNLV Houston over 54.5. Didn't really.
So before we get to specialty picks, and Moff, you're gonna be like, Jim, you could look this up, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, so you already know my response.
I don't know where to look it up. I would like to know, where would one find how many overs versus how many unders hit last week? Where would one find that, Muff?
I think you just Google.
Well, it depends on the sports book, right? It depends on the sports book. There's a lot of
We'll use one here. FanDuel.
Vandal.
I mean, you can do a quick Google search on that and say
And say-
over unders college football week 1 plus FanDuel.
Thank you.
That's an option. So we're gonna wait for you to do that.
No, I just carry on. You can do your thing.
Okay. So our specialty picks were 0 for this week. In the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week, we took Texas A&M to cover 2.5, hosting Notre Dame. Notre Dame won straight up.
They did.
In the Midwest Mobster Risky pick of the week, we took Florida Gators money line in the swamp.
We did.
It was not even close. In the Sell the Nutting Team, Bob parlay, lost 3 of 4 legs. Alex, I think you were the only winning leg.
The only one. Like, I
So
was
we
gonna
had
bring it up since you brought it up.
we had Jacksonville State to cover, Texas A&M to cover, LSU to cover, all losses. Alex with plus the points, Boston College at Florida State got the lone W. Uh, Florida State guys,
Oof.
it's not pretty.
I saw a thing about it was a meme and it was like DJ Wongalele getting sponsored by Waste Management Services because he's trash.
He is trash.
He he's not the best.
No, he's trash. Like honestly, I hate to be like that, but some of the plays, I mean, some of the misses.
Right. And that's the biggest thing is it's not that they didn't win, it's how bad they looked losing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? There's a way to lose and not look like a terrible,
Doo-doo
terrible
pies?
team. Yeah, and they looked like all the duty pies.
Mm-hmm.
Big old
So,
dude.
so we have a lot of room for improvement. In fact, all of the room for improvement in the specialty picks. So let's hope we can turn it around this week, fellas. Everyone will notice that we have not started our guest pickers yet. We don't have a guest for tonight, but I know that Jim is on the line to all of those that are clamoring for next week.
Yes, that's on me. I did not set that up correctly. I hold myself accountable.
Not an issue. Just want to let the loyal listeners know that we will start to have guest pickers next week.
One way or the
Yes.
other.
We're gonna fly them in directly to the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff studio.
Nowhere. But if they really want to come to my house, they could, I guess. It's fine.
Studio is the internet, so
Look out for the neighbor.
Well,
he doesn't live there
oh,
anymore.
at least, no, the creepy neighbor is gone. The one that I used to get distracted by. This one I usually don't, but his parallel parking was kind of a wild situation that he did there.
There we go.
He just parallel parked weird.
All
Muff,
right.
I don't think you can find these results.
Okay, you just challenged me, but I've got a podcast to host, so
I understand. I'm laying it down
why do you want this information?
because I think more unders hit last week.
And how is that going to impact your bets this week?
I would like to know that information for my betting, knowledge.
Well, remember, Jim, whatever happened last week, the sports books have already adjusted.
That you're right. You're
So
right.
you got to treat all of these like a coin flip.
Could be.
All right, so let's get into this week's games first in the NFL. Starting tonight, Thursday, we have the Ravens at the Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 3, over under 47.5 in a rematch of the AFC Championship.
I love the Chiefs here. I'm just gonna rip off and say it.
This is, I think, a good Chiefs spot. I imagine there's going to be a lot of fanfare around the Super Bowl win.
And it's in Arrowhead. I don't think the Ravens are as good as they have been in the past.
Getting close to the Kelsey breakup date, though.
No,
September 28th.
he was hiring. The last thing I saw was he was hiring a lawyer because he's mad at whoever put that out.
I don't know.
I know, Jim, you're more in
I refuse to buy
touch with the Swifties.
Can we not? Can we make it a point not to freaking talk about Travis Kelsey's relationship on a football podcast?
It's good betting knowledge.
That is not.
It affects the game.
Oh shit!
It affects Travis Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Not the fact that he has his own podcast to deal with. That has nothing to do with it. His time is
No. We all know it doesn't take much to run a podcast.
okay. Okay. All right, Jim.
Jim is putting out fighting words.
Okay, Jim.
Got it. Today, Jim chose violence.
Sounds good, buddy. You can do all of this work on Sunday.
Remember earlier when Jim always got kicked off, but Jim was getting dangerously close to betting sports stuff with Muff.
Jim won't even invest in doing the social media, let alone any of
That's
the other
absolutely
things.
true. You're right.
That's absolutely true.
I put a post out on Saturday, damn it.
What was it?
You two at the game and who's gonna win.
Oh, Muff and I remember that.
It was in the story.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But I did it.
I'm glad that you took those 3 minutes out of your life, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jim.
All right. Any other thoughts on Thursday night NFL kickoff?
Hammer home, Chiefs.
NBC. All right, Hammer. Best bet, Jim.
I'm debating it.
Oh,
I'm debating it.
I feel like Jim's going to debate all of the NFL games.
I thought
Uh,
Jim was not about the wait.
You hammer it home, but I'm debating it. Debating what
I'm
I want to do,
debating it.
guys.
I'm debating it whether I want to put my money on.
All right. Friday night football from Brazil. The Packers take on the Eagles. Eagles favored by 2.5, over under 49.5.
What's the over under on a murder?
There's been a murder. I
Murder.
don't over under on people murdered or the yes no line.
I mean, something's gonna happen.
Players, stadium. What are we looking at here?
Fans, referees.
We'll put that at 0.5.
Okay.
Your choice. Your choice, Jim. You chose violence in real life. I don't know if you're going to choose violence outside of your sphere of TBD. I'm going to stay away from this game just because it is such an outlier in
there's no way.
location. It's a Friday night game, which is its own thing that I think the NFL has just put their middle finger up at high school football, which was always like off limits for the NFL. But I guess when we play abroad, it doesn't matter that we're doing it on Friday night.
No, it's Saturday there.
I just think that this should have been Packers versus Jets in Brazil.
That's not okay.
Looking at more the southern part of South America, Jim. If
They're not allowed to wear green.
No, in Brazil.
I'm pretty sure. I think the Eagles got to wear
Aaron Rodgers versus the Packers. I really was.
I know.
I think there's a green color issue.
There was a discussion. I don't know if that's like don't wear it aside from on the football field or don't wear it at all. I'm not sure. I remember Darius Slay was talking about how they were encouraged or pretty much told not to leave the hotel.
Yeah, it's rough. It's hard out there in the streets.
Be part of it. But yeah, staying away. Interested to see what happens in this game. Interested to see the stadium atmosphere. I'm not interested to see the over under murders that Jim seems to have some interest in. But
there's so much fear out there.
I'm sure we'll hear about it.
There's fur in the streets.
You want to write a song?
I should.
There's so much fur in the streets.
Fur in the streets.
All right, moving on to Sunday NFL football action. First, early games. We have the Titans at Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears minus 4.5. Over under 44.5. I think this is, if I remember correctly, one of the first times in a long time that we've had a first time starting rookie in game one be a favorite.
I mean, it is against the Titans.
So is it a coming out party for?
That's what people are expecting, it appears. So it against the Titans. Obviously, Titans' new coach, Rabel's out. The Bears, as we've discussed when we did our breakdown, have a pretty good roster for a team that just had the number one overall pick.
I'm staying away from this one.
I'm also probably going to be staying away. I would maybe venture in under just because I don't think the Titans put up a lot of points, and I still think that Caleb Williams is going to have some growing pains. I'm not saying he's going to have a terrible stat line, but I don't think he's going to light it up for points. So I doubt I go anywhere with it, but I would venture the under if forced.
Yeah. Honestly, if I gun in my head, if I had to pick one team, I probably would go with the Bears here.
Next, we have the Steelers traveling to Hotlanta to take on the Falcons. The Falcons are favored by 3.5, over under 42.5.
With
the great leader, Russell Wilson at QB.
I'm staying so far away from this game.
Great leader.
I would love to say Steelers to cover, but I hate it.
Yeah, I'm going to not lock it in, but put into my consideration Steelers plus the points. I just think with their defense and I think with more of a ball control offense that they can easily stay within a field goal, if not win. So I'm just doing this more on the fact that I don't think a lot of games early on in the season get away from the Steelers.
What if Russell, and this is legitimately not trying to pick a fight. Russell comes out and throws an early interception, and then like 2 series later throws an interception. What is the willingness to shut him down?
I think he gets 4 games of grace if things
No
don't
matter
go well.
how many interceptions he throws.
I mean, I'm not going to say no matter how many. Uh, uh, If Russell has more than in the first 4 games has more than 10 interceptions,
Oh, Muff. 4 games, 10 interceptions.
2 to 3 a game,
Okay.
he gets the auto pull. If he has more than 4 interceptions in any given game, it's auto pull.
10 seems high. I will give Jim this.
But you're asking me what's going to make them pull him? It's those types of stats.
2 interceptions in the first game, I think gets pulled.
I
How
think
many?
in any game.
2.
2. I'm with you.
Nah, they give him enough
I
latitude.
don't think 2. I don't think 2 in the second, or I think 2 in the first game.
2 in the that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, right. You can say 2 in the first game, but what if he also throws 2 or 3 touchdowns? Right? He could put up
The
Jameis
scenario
Winston.
I just gave you.
He could
Okay.
put up Jameis Winston stats.
Yeah, I could see where one of them is like a more of a drop or something. You know what I mean? Like, or a drop or a tip or something like that. But if he throws 2 egregious interceptions without having some good other and like good offensive stats, otherwise, he could be in trouble.
And I know this is a
We'll
betting podcast. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
dive into it, but like if my scenario I just gave you was first series interception, marches down, doesn't score, gets a field goal. Next series falls flat, punt. Next series interception.
He stays in. They're not going to pull him
Oh,
that quick.
then I'm staying away. That was my thing. Is like
I'm willing to bet you $5, Jim, that scenario does not play out.
I'm not comfortable yet betting on the Steelers that way.
We have an opinion. Okay.
I'm not, and I really honestly think like I want to see how Russell plays in that first game. If he's the Russell of old or even close to formidable, and like all that hype around who's the starting quarterback is like kind of bullshit. And this is okay. He's good. I'll probably put more money down throughout the season on the Steelers. But this first game, I want to. It's sketchy to me.
This is the last question I have. Jim, what are you concerned about Russell's stat line from last year?
I don't think he's consistent.
Okay. So last year he threw for 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Like what's the Russell of old that you're worried about?
I don't think they're going to let him run all over the place.
He
It's the
doesn't
Steelers. I don't think he's going to be able, like, I don't think it's a scrambling kind of situation. I don't think he's in a age bracket or a system that's going to be, he can make magic happen. So now he's going to have to use his arm in this system.
Well,
And I don't know if
he used
he
his
still
legs
got
last.
it.
I don't think he used his legs last year either. So that's why
That's
I'm
what I
like
mean. So like, I just don't think he's,
26 and 8. I'm still trying to figure out where like you're worried about all these interceptions with a team that had zero talent pretty much around him. That's where I'm getting at. Moving on, we got the
yeah.
Jags at the Dolphins. Dolphins minus 3.5 over under 48.5. I feel like this should be a good Dolphin spot.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins here. Um, it's a lean for me on picking the Dolphins actually here.
And put it onto the short list. So Mike McDaniel just got extended. So that's, I mean, not that I think that would have changed how he approached this game.
Whoa,
But
whoa.
I fixed it.
Jim, thoughts?
No, I think it's a good pick.
Next, we have the Patriots at the Bengals. Unless something happened today that I don't know about, we still have Jamar Chase as a hold in.
Yeah, he's not. There's nothing that says he's there.
Okay, Bengals favored by 8.5 over under 40.5.
I lean Patriots plus the points.
Yeah, if I was forced, I would be leaning that direction. I think I'm going to stay away. Um, Jamar Chase, I think, just is too much to that team as a playmaker. But I don't know if I feel confident enough to say the Patriots, as the team that we have no idea what's going to happen with them, are still able to keep it within a touchdown.
I mean, like, it's just crazy to think that the Patriots, from the Patriots that I grew up with, the Patriots now are the biggest underdogs of the league in the NFL.
Yeah, that's nuts.
What happens when Bill leaves? It's what happens.
Well, I mean, I think it's more than just Bill, but
I think Bill, they're like maybe a 5 or 6 point dog. I don't know if he gets to 8.5.
that's fair.
Just the Belichick factor. They're still underdogs. There's no switch that much, but I think they're less than a touchdown dog. Next we have the Texans at Dakotas. Texans favored by 2.5, over under 48.5. Jim, do you think your new NFL team is getting enough respect in this game?
I think they're leery of the Colts. I think it's where it should be. I agree with this.
Favored, but not more than a field goal.
Yeah. Yep.
Remember last year, the risky pick was definitely benefited from the Texans through the early
Yeah.
parts of the season. We rode the Texans most every week that they were an underdog,
Yeah.
and it worked out well. So we will not have that opportunity this year.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Um, if I'm forced to something in this game, I'm actually going to lean towards the over. It's a game where I would potentially see CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson kind of look to put on a show.
I was just gonna say, I forced probably the Texans to cover, but the uncertainty of how Anthony Richardson plays is what keeps me away from this game.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm just banking on the fact that he's going to show out game one before he gets concussed or has to go off the field because
Yeah, before he runs into somebody.
he ran into a linebacker that with a head of steam on him. Like how how long can he stay healthy? It might only be through the first quarter. We will find out. Next year, the Vikings at the Giants. Vikings favored by 1.5, over under 41.5. This has to be this has to be the least interesting game to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Well, that's a lie. The next game might be the least interesting game to me.
It's a competition between the two.
It is, which leads us to Panthers at Saints. Saints favored by 3.5, over under 41.5.
Who cares?
I have no thoughts. I mean, I hope for the NFL's sake and the Carolina's Panthers' sake that Bryce Young at least doesn't put up garbage numbers and he, looks like he's improved since year one. I just don't know if it's going to be true. Who knows? Next, we have the Cardinals at the Bills. Bills favored by 6.5, over under 48.5.
Uh, Cardinals. Well, if you're gonna ride that train,
So that wasn't early
that was
early on. This was like year two of the betting show. I was riding the Cardinals and Kyler Murray as plus point dogs. I'm actually gonna put that in there for consideration. Kyler Murray coming back for his first full season back since his injury. The Bills still, I think, slightly unsettled. Right, we don't have Stephon Diggs anymore. We don't have Gabe Davis. Done what they can to replace those. I mean, Josh Allen can only do so much by himself. And this is not winter months, so it's not like they have the weather as an additional ally in this matchup. So,
no new video games out lately.
ooh, NCAA. You think Kyler's an NCAA guy?
no.
No, right? I think Madden came out too, didn't it?
Yep.
He was into like the first person shooters though. I think that was like
Yeah,
his
I was
thing, right?
That's his jam.
Call of Duty.
Yeah. I don't know if any of those came out, but I'll consider it. I'm not saying I'm going to lock it in, but it's something worth considering for me. Next, Raiders at the Chargers. First game of the afternoon slate. Chargers favored by 3, over under 40.5.
Games X Chargers.
I like the Chargers here. Even with Herbert having, I don't know if he's gonna play or not, honestly. But I do still like the Chargers here.
Yeah, I would venture towards the Chargers. I would say in game one of Harbaugh's tenure, I'm just curious to see his game management in the NFL. That's what. That's all. See how
Yeah,
it
that's
goes.
fair.
I mean, they may win by exactly a field goal just because he's going to control the ball. That's it. Next to the Broncos at the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 5.5, over under 41.5. Alex, what are your initial thoughts on the Geno Smith-led Seahawks?
I would take the Seahawks to cover here.
Fade.
Fade the Seahawks
Fade.
with the 12th man.
Fade.
At Seahawks, it's the Broncos. I will say they have Bo Nick, 0, whatever. I'm saying take the Seahawks here.
Jim's still on the fade train.
Fade.
All right, gentlemen. Expect you to take up the slack from here. Have a fantasy draft to 10-2.
So you're just gonna drop off?
I'm just not going to announce everything that's going on. You guys can do that, and I'll put my 2
You
cents
couldn't
in.
even participate in our fantasy draft.
Jim, this one's worth significantly more money.
Seeing as ours was $0. Okay, next we have the Cowboys traveling to Stinkland to face the Browns.
Now we're gonna put up with this shit?
Believe it or not, the Browns are favored by 2.5 points here with the over-under set at 40.5. Jim, what say you?
I'm shocked that the Browns are favored, in all honesty.
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy to me.
it's wild. I never thought this is kind of like the Patriots thing.
Yeah.
Like Browns favored against.
But in the Huntington Bank Stadium.
All right, Muff, any opinion?
In the Huntington Bank Stadium.
That's true.
I'm not saying it's not true.
20-year
it's
naming rights deal to Huntington Bank.
It's an interesting plug. Yeah, I do think it's a little off that the Browns are favored by 2.5. If anything, like just give it a pick 'em. So I'll put this up for consideration if we need it for the risky pick of the week. The Cowboys as a moneyline dog.
Next, traveling now to Tampa Bay, the Commanders at the Bucks. Bucks minus 3.5, over under 43.5. Where's Nate when you need him?
I don't really care about this game at all.
I don't care too much, but I don't mind the Bucks here.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how Jalen Daniels plays.
Yeah, okay.
I'm interested in that. I'm interested in the quarterback play. What's Jalen Daniels going to do in game one, and how's Baker Mayfield going to come out this season? That's what I'm interested in.
Feeling dangerous.
Most likely. Do I care the outcome of this game? I want the Bucks to win just for Nate, but I'd love to see a good quarterback duel.
I would not want to watch this on television.
Good friend, Muff. Sunday night, we have our Lions. And by our Lions, I mean the team that I'm backing, other than the Steelers, hosting the Rams. Two animals going at it Sunday night. Lions minus 3.5, over under 51.5.
I just picked up Amon-Ra St. Brown in the first round of my fantasy draft.
I think that bodes well towards the Lions.
That means I'm going to be rooting for him.
I like the under here.
Yeah.
The under. That's. I mean, it's a high line, so I mean the under is definitely, I would say the play based on that line. I mean, I'm going to say this, and I could be just totally in the doghouse at the end of week 3 by saying this, but I think that the Rams are going to be very competitive week in and week out. That doesn't competitive doesn't mean they win this game. It just means that I think the Rams week to week are going to be a good consideration if they're underdogs. Plus,
Alex, what are you going to do?
I'm not going to bet it, but if I had to, I'd pick the
Lions. Wow. That's how I'm staying away.
I just
have my decision.
I have other stuff going on.
I have other stuff going on.
Yeah, but you're the Lions guy.
I know, and that's why I said I'd take the Lions. I just got other stuff going on.
So it's not a sure thing for you.
We got 17 more weeks that I can take the Lions. 16.
So it's not a sure thing for you.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
That's
this is ridiculous.
If it was a sure thing, it'd be easy money and you put it down. It's obviously not a sure thing.
Let's move on to Monday night.
Okay, that answers my question.
Monday night, we have Aaron Rodgers traveling across the country to the West Coast and the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers favored by 4.5 points, over under 43.5. Jim, what do you
In my heart, I hope Bosa breaks Rodgers in half.
think?
Jim, you asked you were wanting an over-under line on murders in Brazil, and now you want somebody to be broken in half.
Broken in half.
Why do you hate Aaron Rodgers so much,
I think mainly because you like him, to be completely honest.
Jim?
He's not wrong.
Just based on what I've interpreted from you guys for the last however many years, I really think that Jim could probably care less about Aaron Rodgers if Muff didn't like him so much.
Pretty much. Yeah. You stand on him too hard, so now I want Bosa to crush him.
I have not talked about him too much in the lead up to this NFL season.
You
It's
haven't.
true. You've stayed quiet, but it's the emotional damage from years past that I just want to throw.
Emotional damage. Now you're asking for all sorts of
Reparations.
poor choice.
That's the NFL.
All right, moving on.
I didn't even give me a chance. You just shit
We all
on
know
Aaron
where you're
Rodgers.
going.
Shit on Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, unless you want to participate, it's
He's-
our world now. This is
No,
our
he's-
boat.
Participating.
Jim, shut up. You're not allowed to talk about the NFL. In that game, in the Monday night, I would actually go for the under. Aaron Rodgers is more of a ball control guy, especially in these types of games
I
and
know.
situations. So I would go with the under, if anything.
There we go. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
What did
All right.
Alex? What did Alex do? I can't see.
Oh,
You
you
guys
gotta
know
pay
this.
attention.
You guys know this.
Why
I
don't you
never
split
am
the
paying
screen?
attention to
You
this.
can't see us.
Split the screen.
This
I
isn't
made a
this isn't
sign that looked like me holding
Go ahead.
footballs.
Do it again. Do it. You've got no
Ball
marbles.
control.
Neither of you have any marbles.
Ball control.
All right, moving on to college football before we get ourselves in more trouble than we're already in. Friday night, we have Duke going to Northwestern. Northwestern favored by 2.5 points. The over/under at 36.5.
Does Northwestern have a home field advantage anymore with like a
Well-
5,000 person stadium?
No,
I don't. This is weird to me. Why is
I
North
flirted with this.
favored? Why is the over/under only 36.5? There's a lot of questions here, not a lot of answers.
Yeah,
I mean, there's two teams. I put this on here because it's a Friday night game, and two, it's a small line, and then shockingly low over under. This is like Iowa territory.
Yeah. I think I stay away from it because someone knows something that we don't. And I don't
I agree with
usually
that.
say
That's
that.
why I shied away.
I
Two
usually don't say that, but this seems odd.
Two shite teams, apparently.
So we'll stay away unless Muff, do you say different?
No, that was the only reason I put this on here because it was an interesting game to discuss why things are the way they are.
I'm not sure. We'll move on to Saturday and pretend we'll watch Friday because we like football, and then we'll move on to Saturday. Saturday with Arkansas going to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is, by the way, Arkansas was Arkansas.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, buddy.
I said it and then I was like, well, listeners may not know that I'm, you know.
People may not
Arkansas
know.
at Oklahoma State minus 7.5, over under 62.5. I like Oklahoma State here.
Duh.
Yeah, what did Arkansas do week 1? Does anybody remember?
They won. They won.
They won convincingly?
Yeah,
Against.
nobody.
Yeah, another Oklahoma State just doesn't seem to be getting any love. I think people just
They struggled in the first half.
I think people hate Mike Gundy. How many teams blew it out of the water in the
But
first
that
game?
I'm telling you why they're not getting any love.
Okay.
I didn't say that you're not. Your point is very valid.
Why them versus everyone else?
What?
Well, because they're actually
a lot
playing
of-
a team from a conference. Some of these other
Right.
teams are playing nobody's week 2.
Yes.
Well, I'm going with Oklahoma State here.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on the Oklahoma State to cover as something of interest for sure, just because I just think Oklahoma State's that good.
I was shotgun blasting like a bunch of bets, it would be on the list of consideration as well.
What, you're not?
There'd be so many bets if I didn't have some self-control.
Is your wife still sitting behind you?
No.
Jim, blink twice if there's something for us to be concerned
Right.
about in the background.
Right.
All right, moving on. We have Georgia Tech at Syracuse. Georgia Tech -2.5, over under 60.5.
So I find this
You
game to
buddy.
be the most interesting game. I know,
I know.
because if Syracuse wins, their schedule
Does Florida State look?
their schedule is basically a cakewalk. The last game that, if you look at their schedule, the last game they have is the last game of the year against Miami, and that's it. And then they're talking about they play the conference championship, probably against Miami
You're
again.
talking about Syracuse?
Syracuse, their schedule is set up to be that well. And Kyle McCord went off last week.
Yeah, he thanked Ohio State. Not
The
Will,
coach
not
did.
the coach did. Coach thanked Ohio State
Yep.
for allowing them to have him.
On the other side of the coin, Georgia Tech could be a continuation of their run. And I'm here for it. I would like to see that as well.
I was thinking if Syracuse mollywops Georgia Tech, how bad does Florida State look?
I mean, they already look terrible.
I mean, yeah,
but Syracuse is I don't know, man.
I think we just don't. I don't think we're gonna know. Like, I think this is the only, because we can't really gauge Georgia Tech off of Florida State anymore.
Yep.
So we may not know what Syracuse is until like the end of the season.
Till the end of the season, exactly.
Whenever
that's what makes it so fun to watch this game.
Yeah.
Again, shotgun blasting. I'm going to take Georgia Tech because I'm never betting against them again.
Mm-hmm.
I would take this game. It's a hard lean. Showing restraint. I like this game a lot.
All right, next
I literally put it in there because one, it was Georgia Tech, and two, because of what Syracuse has got going on. So I'm glad that there was this much discussion about it, because that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Texas at Michigan. Texas -7.5, over under 42.5.
So this is in my betting group of nothing but Ohio. I have 3 Ohio State homers and 1 Penn State fan in my betting group. And 3 of us want to pick Texas, and that Penn State guy wants to pick Michigan. I don't know what to do.
I would take Texas here as the outside party.
And that makes sense. Hammer home Texas. Texas looks like they're back.
I mean, they're not a Big 12 team. They ditched the Big 12. Based on what I saw, though, out of Texas and Michigan, I lean towards Texas to come.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I hate about this game? It's at noon.
I agree.
Fox just screws up this whole game with the big noon kickoff. I'm sorry, but
yes,
it robbed us of a potential at least afternoon game in Morgantown last week, and is now robbing us of a obvious primetime matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least a 3:30 or 4 kick.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna hammer Texas. That's where I'm going.
Muff?
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely going to be leaning towards Texas in this game. I just don't think, just based off of last week, right? And that's right. That's 1 week, but I just think Texas has got it this year.
Alrighty. Next, we have Army at Florida Atlantic University. FAU is favored by 3.5 points, over under 42.5.
I had to put this in here again for the betting group.
Did you have to?
Yeah, because that's what I've decided I'm using for my best bets this year. Some of my best bets, since you want to make me bet NFL,
I don't make you do anything. I just gave you an ultimatum.
You just shame me.
Yeah, I was going to be guilted to do it, but we didn't make it do anything.
FAU looked real good last week. I don't know if Army had a game last week. I am probably going to go FAU. What say you all?
Nothing to offer in this thought. Just being 100% honest with you.
And at this point, Muff, Can I go to the light, please?
Oh,
Calling on the light
this is the light. We are calling on the light.
for new listeners to the show, new watchers of the show. If you're subscribing to YouTube, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, hammer it home. Every once in a while, we call on the wisdom, the pure chaos of a small light, an emergency light, some would say, a push light, and we call on this to answer the enigmas of the betting world. So Jim is called on the light. Jim, you get to choose who's the light.
FAU is the light.
FAU is the light. Army is the dark side. The light wins flip one of the year.
Thank you.
That's good because I feel like that confirmed what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Light
All right.
wins.
Next, we have Kansas State at Tulane. Kansas State minus 8.5 over under 47.5. I put this game in because Kansas State could be a competitor in the Big 12. I like Kansas State to cover here. I think Tulane's a good team, but I think Kansas State takes care of what they need to take care of and wins by 10.
Ooh. You want to alt spread that?
No, I'm just saying I think they cover, so I feel like they win by 10, and that's why
I'm just offering.
I know, I'm just saying
Just
that's why-
offering.
Just off.
I'm just saying that's why I feel comfortable saying cover an 8.5.
Just offering. Just
Throwing it out there.
giving you an option to consider.
So that was my addition.
Yeah. No, I have no thoughts there. I mean, I trust Alex on the Big 12 thoughts. So if you were going to tail somebody in this game, I would tail whatever Alex says.
I would have liked Kansas State at 7. The 8.5 makes me. I don't know enough.
I usually like 8.5 if I feel confident saying 10. That's how I like it. Next, we have Pitt at Cincinnati. Cincinnati minus 2.5 over under 62.5. Eat shit, Pitt. The only thing that brought all of the WVU and Penn State fans last week was the chance of eat shit, Pitt.
Is Pitt's quarterback hurt? That's what I had read, and that's why Cincinnati's getting the love.
He's a running back, right?
Is it a running back? I knew they had a player that was
I
hurt.
believe they have a running back that is out for the season.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I'm staying away because
Yeah,
Cincinnati is
it's-
dog shit.
yeah, there's a short line with two teams that I didn't expect it to be that short. That over seems pretty high.
I was just gonna say, if anything, I'd
Well, there's no defense on either team.
That's what I was thinking. Like, is this going to be a shootout?
Yeah, or if you're missing a giant piece of your offense.
Right, and that's why I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, it was worth considering and discussing. That's the only reason it's in there.
All right.
Yeah.
Next, we have Bowling Green traveling to Happy Valley to take on Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State's favored by 34.5 points over under 48.5.
I don't understand how Penn State is only favored by 34.5.
That was my thought here.
And the
but-
over-under seems low.
Yeah, they're looking for a like 38 to not even that, like a 41-7 game.
I was gonna say 38. Yeah, 38-10 when it covers.
48, yeah, like 42-7. So that's 6 touchdowns to 1.
Then they're sitting Drew in like the third.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I mean, Penn State's got 2 easier games this week and next week before they get into some Big Ten play. So that was the only thing I was considering here, is that this is almost like a preseason game 1 after game 1. So you may see some people take a rest. So I'm just going to stay away. I mean, I think Penn State, if their starters play all 4 quarters, they cover easily. I just don't know if that's going to happen.
I think they'll cover easily second string.
Either way. Yeah, I guess quarterback 2 is quarterback really 1C.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet it if I was
One
again shotgun blasting.
Right.
Hammer that sumbitch home, but
You're not.
I'm not.
Iowa State at Iowa. Is that a rivalry? I don't really know how that works.
Yeah, it's a rivalry via geography.
Iowa is favored by 2.5 points over under 35.5.
I think they play for something in this game.
I caution you, Jim, because I feel like you're about to jump on Iowa, and I could be wrong.
I like the over.
Okay.
I don't know that I'd jump on it. When I first saw this, I was gonna like hammer Iowa,
I
but I
just
think they know something that I don't know.
Iowa State is a sneaky, not bad team.
But I do like the over. I think more points are gonna be scored than they anticipate.
It was 40-0 last week. Iowa scored 40 points on their own last week.
So they're capable.
Yeah. And it's a Big 12 team they're playing, so there's gonna be very little defense
Yeah.
from the Big 12 side of the ball. I just
I that's a leaner for me right now.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, hell, give me an over. Let me just buck all the trends here.
Yeah. Next, we have Michigan State at Maryland. Maryland minus 9.5, over under 44.5.
I was really curious about Jim's thoughts with Maryland. I know I'm not saying that you thought Maryland's going to be world beaters, but I know you were higher on Maryland than the rest of us, Jim.
9.5
Yeah, it's a lot. That's why I was curious of how confident you would be.
sketches me out just a tad.
Okay.
Just a tad.
Yeah. I'm not on it. I was really just wanted to see how confident you could be.
Like I think Maryland will win. The 9.5.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think the Big Ten matchup so early.
Yeah.
I was like, uh-oh.
They're getting into it quick.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Marshall traveling to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is favored by 19.5 points, over under 52.5. Gut reaction makes me want to take Marshall to cover this.
I know. I
Oh.
know.
I just wanted to hear Alex say something about Marshall.
So bad.
I always get burnt on.
And that's I heard that exact phrase in my head when we were doing my picks. I was like, I want Marshall. What would Alex say? He'll say exactly that. Pick Marshall, you'll always get burnt on that kind of situation.
It is, and Virginia Tech looked bad, but what if they bounce back? I just
Yep.
I had it as a leaner, and I think I got to get rid of it just because I know better. But I will be rooting for Marshall here. Obviously, it's just, oof, not with my money.
Everybody's down on Virginia Tech right now, right?
Yep.
After last week, they had enough fanfare. At least I would say they had people that were confident in what they could do. That I think this could be a bounce back and just a home game that they just take out all of their aggression on Marshall.
I think this is bad for Ohio State if Virginia Tech like dog walks them. Because they play Marshall next week.
Okay.
The week after. I think it's bad. If Marshall goes in there and like beats Virginia Tech, hell yeah. So I'm interested in this game a lot. And I like Marshall.
That's fair.
Speaking of West Virginia teams, I would like to take now to interject that we can't find a line for the West Virginia Albany game. I couldn't.
I didn't see one as I was going through, or it would have been in there.
I did early.
I looked at
but they must have taken it down.
And then I looked on Action App to see if there would be a line from a different sports book, and I haven't seen anything, so I don't know what's up. But
yeah, I saw it's like Monday because we all laughed about it, but I haven't seen it at all since.
All right, so next we have Virginia at Wake Forest. Wake minus 2.5, over under 56.5.
I'm taking Wake minus 2.5.
Yeah, it was just interesting because it was a small line. I don't know anything about either of those teams right now.
I mean,
right.
I'm a Wake fan, so
guys, I need to tell you something.
Oh boy, okay, I'm ready.
I always knew it.
My 3 wide receivers so far: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, and Stephon Diggs.
Ooh.
Don't know how I got all 3 of them. Jim, I have CJ Stroud at quarterback, and I got George Kittle at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Are they even playing?
Who?
Your
NFL?
other people that you're drafting against?
They are.
Did they all take kickers?
They are locked in.
What is going on?
I'm curious as well as to how I got that. I'm not upset about it, but I got that.
All right.
Good. That's a good start.
12-team league.
Ugh.
This is stupid.
Yeah. You would think it'd be even worse in 12 teams.
Yeah.
All right. Kansas at Illinois. Kansas minus 5.5. Over under 55.5.
I like Kansas.
I don't know why the line is the way it is.
Nothing at Illinois screams like
Yep.
lower the line by 2 or 3 points. Maybe it's just a style clash.
Maybe.
That might be just Illinois' more ball control, correct?
Yeah.
In Kansas, maybe they're just worried about them having limited possessions.
Could be.
That's the only thing in my mind that would lead to a line that low in favor of dropping that line because people are scared of Illinois. That's the only thing I can think of. 5.5, 55 points. We're looking at a 31 to 27 game, somewhere in that range.
Give me Kansas.
I don't think you're wrong.
It's something's fishy. I'm gonna stay away.
Next, we have Tennessee at NC State. Tennessee minus 7.5, over under 60.5.
Tennessee struggled with, or NC State struggled with
I was gonna say Tennessee.
Western North Carolina.
I'm hammering Tennessee.
Yeah, me too.
Hammering. We may have just found the hit stick pick.
We might have just found it because
I don't care if it's an NC State. Zero cares about it being in Raleigh.
Tennessee looked way too good for that line.
Yeah, their quarterback, I think, just tosses the ball all over the yard in this game.
Yep. Next, we have Jim's game of the week: Western Michigan at Ohio State. Ohio State minus 37.5, over under.
Night game.
Why?
Thank you, Big Ten, you idiots.
Yeah,
Is this the Big Ten Network?
I
is
think
this
it's an NBC.
Is this Here Comes Saturday Night?
Yeah.
It's all those games are terrible. They were all terrible last year because it was Friday night last year, wasn't it?
This is stupid. Stupid.
Right? Why can't we swap this with Michigan, Texas?
Right?
These network battles are really chapping my ass.
Dumb.
All right. Next, we got Colorado at Nebraska.
What I'm going to say, what did they cover?
I don't know. Were you going to say anything? What were you going to
I
say?
don't know that they cover. Honest opinion.
That's fine. I have no real opinion on the cover not cover. But
I would take the under as well.
Did the under hit last week?
I think so.
I remember that was something you talked about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Jim have his team opinion, but I would take the over.
But I mean, if they leave the starters in for 4 quarters because they want to get that highlight tape, Jim, shouldn't it
That's
be
what
over?
they did.
But they didn't get the tape.
No, they did not.
Because what was it? Your assessment was the running game is shit, or at least was shit in week 1. Not that will be forever, but week 1 was less than stellar.
Yep.
All right. Next,
I say honest things about my team, Dick.
Who's dishonest?
You know what I'm talking about, old Morgantown boy over there.
I think I was pretty honest about the last week.
Seemed like sunshine and rainbows to me.
It's not letting the highs get too high and the lows get too low, Jim.
I feel like I was pretty middle of the road that we got beat by the number 8 team in the country.
Yep.
Moving along to Alex's second favorite team.
Colorado at Nebraska. Nebraska minus 7.5, over under 58.5.
This would be the Matt Rule coming out party, at least to the world. But will it be? That is the question.
No.
Alex says no.
You're saying Colorado?
An opinion.
You're saying Colorado?
No, I'm saying Nebraska.
So is this the Matt Rule coming out party?
Sure. Yeah, I guess. I don't think it's coming out party either way. I mean, I hope Nebraska wins.
Minus 7.5.
I'm not putting my money on either side.
I would consider an over bet. Just because I think Nebraska is going to put up more points this year overall. I think Matt Rule's shedding that common thought about Nebraska football with Dylan Raiola and just making changes. So I would venture that. Not a best bet, but if I was forced, I would go for an over.
I don't put enough stock in Colorado to say that this would be a Matt Rule coming out party for him to win this game.
Do you think Nebraska covers?
I hope.
Ugh, you guys are killing me.
I'm
Okay,
not betting on it.
fair enough.
All right. Next, we have App State at Clemson. Clemson is favored by 17 points. The over-under is set at 52.5. I like App State to cover here, honestly.
Yeah, I Clemson, so I had to toss this in here for thoughts. Um, I I don't know. Stay away. Under
Yeah,
if you forced me. This next game, by the way, is like an 11 p.m. kick.
Yeah, I saw that. Boise State.
Why isn't this the Saturday night Big Ten game?
Boise State at Oregon. Oregon minus 18.5, over under 61.5.
Just so upset with the whole TV situation. I mean, I want to say Oregon, but they didn't
They didn't
give
show
any
out.
reason to be confident in them covering 18.5 against Boise State.
Yeah.
Alex?
I mean,
Nah.
I'm not betting on it.
Nah.
That's where I'm at. I'm not betting on it.
Fair
That
enough.
All right.
wraps
That
up
wraps
our
that shit up.
slate. Now we're into our specialty picks. We have the Mike Allstott hit stick pick of the week.
Pow, pow, pow.
I think Tennessee. I mean, we all were on it. We felt good about it. I
Yeah, I
think
think we all hammered it.
Yeah, I think that's the only logical option.
I say we jump on it.
Jumped on it. Done and done.
Jump on it. All right, so now we need a Midwest mobster risky pick.
Get out of here.
Is anybody on plus the points? I mean, I'm on Steelers, potentially Steelers Cardinals, which I don't think I can get anybody on board with the Steelers or the
I am.
Cardinals.
I'm on board with the Steelers. I'm actually thinking about putting that in one of my picks.
There's another game that I said early on, though.
We talked about the Cowboys.
Yeah, we talked about the Cowboys as consideration early
Yeah.
on.
I'm okay with that pick too.
I would be more with the Cowboys.
Oh, I would be more with the Steelers.
Alex, you can either break the tie or go to the light.
I think I go to the light.
You get to choose the light then, Alex.
The light is the Steelers always.
Shouldn't the not light be the Steelers?
Doesn't matter. Alex picked it. Steelers is the pick. Ooh, I have a
Steelers.
hold on. Draft pick.
All right. So we have the Steelers money at the Falcons.
Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins. Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
Done. He's my second quarterback after CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have them each in different leagues, so I support you. Steelers money line at Falcons will be the Midwest mobster risky pick, which means our sell the nutting team.
Oh, stop. We have to do our best bets.
Oh,
That's true.
okay.
Yeah, I usually go out of order. You guys went in order. No worries. Best bets. What did we do last week? Jim first,
Yes.
then me, then Alex. So we'll
Yeah.
go me, Alex, then Jim this week. So my best bets this week are going to be the Steelers +3 at Hotlanta and the Falcons, Dolphins -3.5 hosting the Jags, Texans Colts over 48.5. I'm going to take the Cardinals 6.5 out. I'm just not feeling it right away with them. I'm going to take Oklahoma State -7.5, covering at home against Arkansas. I am going to buck all of the trends from last year, all of my thoughts from last year, and go with my heart and say that Iowa, even though Kirk Ferentz is coming back this week, and Iowa State go over 35.5 points.
So even though their head coach comes back, I still think they're going to score points.
I think he saw what happened last week and he's going to let it cook. And lastly, I'm going to take Tennessee -7.5 traveling to Raleigh, North Carolina against NC State.
Dang.
Maybe.
6 for me. Next we go
I
to Alex.
will also be taking 6 games. I will be taking the Chiefs -3 this Thursday. Today, if you're listening, I will take the Dolphins -3.5 versus the Jags. In the college world, I will take Oklahoma State -7.5 versus Arkansas. I will take Kansas State -8.5 at Tulane, Kansas -5.5 at Illinois, and Tennessee -7.5 at NC State. I do understand I look like a Big 12 homer this week, but I'll go with what I know.
Fair. I'm going to take FAU -3.5 against Army, Texas -7.5 against Michigan, Tennessee -7.5 against NC State, Wake -2.5 against Virginia, Iowa -2.5 against Iowa State, and the Texans -2.5 at the Colts.
Please adjust your bets accordingly
Why?
for the people that do the graphics and shit.
Oh yeah, that's true. The people that run the podcast.
Oh, Jim has an NFL game in there, so we can't
That's right.
Roast him.
can't banish him yet.
All
All
right.
right. Go ahead, Alex. Take it away.
Oh, I was gonna say the sell the nutting team. Sorry, I was in the mode of keeping this thing moving. So sell the nutting team, Bob parlay. Oh, man, I can't think of what I want to do. I was like, do I want to play off the word sell, the word nutting? That sounds bad. That might be the new sound effect. Sell the nutting team, Bob. I think this is a prime example of the inmates running this.
I'm not even
I-
away. I'm just not engaged.
I think that we go with our Mike Allstott hit stick pick at Tennessee -7.5 at NC State, and then I will say we go in reverse order of records like we did last time.
So it's same order as last week.
Yeah. So Jim,
Give me the Texans -2.5 of the Colts.
okay.
Now it's Muff.
It is me. I'm gonna go with the
Sorry, I was watching Jim trying to type it. It's
Jim
like
is
-2.4, -2.6.
like freaking sausages trying to type there. I'm gonna take Oklahoma State to cover 7.5, hosting Arkansas, as Alex would say.
Hmm. You took probably what I would have taken, Mom.
That's
That's
I
okay.
didn't take it because you were gonna take it. I just felt
I
very
know.
confident.
I know. That's okay. That's okay.
And he's just a little pissed.
Man, part of me wants to go with the Chiefs -3. It's just so early.
Hey, I took a Thursday night game and it ruined
Yeah, it
it
didn't
early
go
on.
well. I
So,
know. That's why I don't know if I want to ruin
and I
it.
think week 1 is like the one week where we can truly go against the we don't bet Thursday games because it's the first game of the
Yeah,
year.
I know.
They're not coming off a short week or anything.
I'm gonna go with Kansas -5.5 at Illinois.
I'm upset about it.
I feel better about that. So our sell the nutting team Bob parlay is Tennessee -7.5 at NC State. The Texans -2.5 at the Colts. Oklahoma State -7.5 versus Arkansas. And Kansas -5.5 at Illinois.
Kansas.
Kansas.
Kansas. All right. I think we made all our picks.
Is this a gentle nudge to me?
Yeah, that's where you shut us down, buddy.
It's my pick, guys.
Oh, that's okay. Well, we gotta let him pick his pick, so I will take us out here.
No, that's no. You
Okay.
wait for the pick.
Jim says no. We'll wait for the pick.
Well, Jim's not using a totem, so fuck him. Go ahead, Alex.
Muff very rarely says the F word, but I liked it. All right, so those are our picks for the week. Talem, Reach out to us if you want our action app. Please don't reach out to me. I don't feel like using it. I don't want any responsibility when it comes to what my bets are and what my record is. Jim did bet the NFL, does not have a totem. Muff is in his fantasy football draft. We hope he kills it.
One of us
And
does.
I don't remember what our lead out song is, but usually what we say is that if our bets hit, we're gonna have a
Payday!